Now, who's ready to talk about some Bears football? No, it doesn't have to be like that this time. And in fact, there wasn't a whole lot of that on display Thursday night in prime time as the Bears traveled to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. It was actually, for a Bears fan at least, in terms of preseason, a relatively pleasurable viewing experience, was it not? I'm just saying. Unless you had the volume on and had to listen to the diarrhea that came out of the mouths of Louis Riddick and Dan Orlovsky. Holy God. It's bad enough they showed a picture at one point in time of Sean Desai and said that it was Ryan Poles. Maybe Louis Riddick and Dan Orlovsky think all non-white people look the same. I don't know what the hell the deal with that was. But just throughout the game, it was cringe. You could tell and appreciate whatever money ESPN paid to Troy Aikman and Joe Buck was worth every damn penny and more. Especially if it means we don't have to listen to these two diarrhea receptacles on Monday night ever again. And to any of you Bears fans that ever tried to stand for or make a case for Louis Riddick as the general manager of the Chicago Bears, I want you to write in the comments of this video, I am a dumb stupid head and I will never make that mistake again. I repeat, I want you to put in the comments, I am a dumb stupid head and I will never repeat that mistake again. It doesn't make you a bad person, but own it. It almost felt like he was still trying to defend Matt Nagy, but it was really odd as you were watching the broadcast because they just seemed so prepared to crap on the Bears. And believe me, I crap on Bears football more than any damn body. And F you, Colin Cowherd, for trying to steal my fucking shtick. That's my shtick, damn it. And everybody good and well knows it. Why are people agreeing with it? Because it's my shtick. Because I do know what I'm talking about when it comes to this fucking behind the times organization. But you could even hear it in the way Riddick especially was talking about the Roquan Smith situation. Like they were trying to speak bad about Roquan, but it also felt like they were speaking bad about Ryan Poles. Like, what the hell was that? Maybe you went into this whole situation preparing to do a whole certain story about how bad the Bears are. But as the game unfolded, it's clear that the Bears aren't great, but the Seahawks suck hawk dick. They are terrible. I'm just saying. So, if this is one of these situations where you had the game on and watched it, but listened to like the radio broadcast, good for you. Because listening to the ESPN commentary team was god-awful, brutally bad. Just like the Seahawks' performance the first few quarters of this game was really brutally bad. I mean, again, you can't take too much out of any of these because it is preseason. It does matter to some degree. It doesn't matter to another degree. But if you're a Bears fan, like, what were you paying attention to? What were you maybe encouraged by? What did you like? What gives you some concerns coming out of this game? Well, I think right away, you saw some semblance of competency in terms of being able to scheme Cole Kmet open on the opening drive. Had a couple of nice plays there. That's good. I guess what you want to see. Some competent play calling, but more importantly, some competent play design. Like as much as we used to knock Matt Nagy and his play calling, it was his play design that was truly the drizzling shits. But you could see Getsy has something to be able to scheme ways to get Cole Kmet open. Had some really good separation on Thursday night. Like, you're going to need Cole Kmet to have a decent year in year 3 to help out young quarterback Justin Fields. The starters offensively and defensively really didn't play that long, so you can't glean a ton from them. Again, like Justin Fields, you saw a couple of instances where it felt like they were struggling to protect him. You saw some nice athleticism out of him. A couple of good throws, a couple of throws. Like, really hard to gauge in such a small sample size and take away much of anything from Justin Fields in this one, quite frankly. Same thing with, like, rookie left tackle Braxton Jones. Wasn't in there all that long, but certainly feels like he's going to be starting the regular season as the left tackle protecting Justin Fields' blind side. So let's hope that goes well. Now, thing of note here in this game was you had Larry Borum starting at right tackle and Tevin Jenkins starting at right guard. And let's make no mistake about it. The fact that Tevin Jenkins is playing right guard represents a gross misevaluation of talent by Ryan Pace, period. And you're going to say, well, no. You don't trade up like they did in round 2 to get Tevin Jenkins to have him play right guard. You do that because you thought he was going to be a left tackle or at the very least a right tackle. That said, if Tevin Jenkins can be in that spot and he can be a Kyle Long type of guard, then it works out at the end of the day, and that's all that matters. Like, it almost feels like with Tevin Jenkins, similar to Kyle Long, give him less responsibility, just tell him in this phone booth, dominate, go do it. He can maybe actually go do it. And there could be some talk of, well, you want to start Riley Reif on the right side to begin the season? I fucking don't. Like, there's a reason Reif was available on the market right before trading camp. Same thing with Michael Schofield at right guard. In my opinion, if you're starting Schofield and Reif at right guard and right tackle respectively to start the season, you're not doing this right. You want to find out if Braxton Jones could be the long-term left tackle, Tevin Jenkins could be the long-term right guard, Larry Borum could be the long-term right tackle. Some or all of them may not be able to do that, but imagine if all three were. You'd have 3/5 of your starting offensive line on rookie contracts improving. Now you could go into free agency and go get you a legit left guard and a legit center, and you've really got something. I'm just saying. Velus Jones Jr. in the return game showed you, like, yeah, he could make an impact. He could make a difference in special teams. The question is going to be whether he's going to be able to do much as a rookie, as a wide receiver. I'm not saying he can't. I just don't know how much he's going to thrive in a traditional type of wide receiver role. Now, if you gimmick some things for him and you create some gadgets and you manufacture some looks for him, like Velus Jones Jr. with the ball in his hands can be exciting. I want to see him in this offense more because he could bring an element that they need. But in the return game, no surprise. Like, there's a reason he was getting some Cordero Patterson comps coming out of Tennessee. It's understandable because he has some of those similar type of abilities. You look at some of the other young rookies like Dominique Robinson, again, like he's going to be a project, but you got to love the athleticism and speed off the edge, the upside that's there. But like I said, he's a work in progress. Kyler Gordon played good. Like, he had one really bad miss on the long run, but the one edge bliss, he showed some really good effort in pursuit on Geno Smith. Time will tell what happens with him. But the bottom line is it comes down to those young offensive players. Like, no offense to Gordon or Brisker, I could give two fucks right now how their development's going or what they're developing into. And if you're going to say, well, you need the defense too, even that is really bad. That is really dated thinking because you have to have the offense, especially for the type of defense the Bears want to run. That defense is always best when you're playing with a lead, when you are protecting a lead, because then you could go be aggressive and go after the quarterback. Doesn't work the same when you're behind. The offense matters. So it's about how the Braxton Joneses of the world's developed, the Velus Jones Jr.'s of the world's developed. Hopefully Tristan Ebner wasn't hurt too badly. It's about how he develops. Like, it's great if these other rookies on the defensive side, can contribute right away and develop into nice players. But if these offensive guys don't, along with like Tevin Jenkins and Larry Borum, if they don't develop, then none of this crap matters, and Justin Fields is going to be a bust. Period. You've got to give him every chance you possibly can to succeed. And you have to hope that this coaching staff can coach up this young talent. But one thing you got to call out here is Eberflus. It's clear that this is a better coach team, at least right now. There's more discipline, fewer penalties. They seem more organized. Although, I do want to point out, on that catch by Isaiah Coulter, which was a catch, it was really numbskullish to sit there and not only not challenge that, but to take a delay of game penalty just to punt. And you even saw some Bears fans trying to defend that. It does not make you a bad Bears fan to question or criticize one damn decision for your new head coach. Stop being moron-ass marks. Like, if anything, in the preseason, you want to test out everything. That's the name of the fucking game. It's practice. So practice for those scenarios. Practice the challenge. Practice the communication. Practice the decisioning, the timing, and all of that. And they didn't do that. Like sitting there and letting the clock run down, not challenging when you should have, and then taking a delay of game penalty, and then still not fucking challenging was numbskull Nagy type of crap. That was bad by Eberflus, period. Don't defend it. It's dumb to do so. Just accept it was one mistake by a coach, and it's okay to call it that. As far as the Seahawks go, good luck to you. Well, shit, at this point, I'd be just as prone to say Jacob Eason actually moved the Seahawks offense late in the game. Now, granted, we know it's late in the game, and it's against the scrubs and a bunch of guys that will never play in the league, but maybe he deserves a damn shot as much as Locke and Geno Smith do. I'm just saying. But they were rough. But you're going to be told that by watching the damn game because ESPN seems so pointed towards the Bears being crappy. They were hardly paying any attention to the fact that Seahawks could absolutely suck as well. Or suck even harder. Because if the Bears are, according to some ESPN hosts, if the Bears are supposed to be the worst team in the league, what the hell does that make the Seahawks the worst team in the XFL based on what we saw Thursday night? I don't think the Bears are going to be great, but they won 6 games with numbskull Nagy last year. Even with slightly more competent coaching, they should at least win a minimum of 6 games. Like, I know some of y'all think I'm negative just to be negative, but goddamn, I'm honest, and sometimes you don't like it, and that's tough shit on you. But I'm also going to be honest when I see people being too hyperbolic about the doom and gloom. It's not that bad. Now, if the Bears win like 7 or 8 games and Justin Fields sucks, doesn't make it through the season healthy, doesn't show a bunch of progression and development, then yes, everything is stupid, it sucks. And I'll probably be calling to fire everybody, and no, it won't be too early. Well, we got, one more preseason game to go. We'll see how much the starters actually play. One positive again, though, you look at this Bears team, the special teams. You've got a really good kicker in Cairo Santos. Trenton Gill looks like the real deal, the rookie punter. And then you've got Velus Jones Jr. in the return game. Like the Bears could have a solid special teams unit. They really could. That's a positive. They've got some young rookie talent that looks like it could play a role and they could be contributors. And let's hope they are. But it's about those young offensive guys they've got to develop. Or else none of this absolutely matters at all. But at least I could say it was nice to watch on Thursday night in the sense of the Bears didn't make total and complete fools of themselves. None of the noontime Nagy crap. That day, that era, thank God, is over.